If you are looking for a low-cost alternative to InDesign and you still want to have all those features and the ability to open up InDesign files, maybe Affinity Publisher is for you. Hi and welcome to iPixel Design. My name is Paul C and I'm going to show you today how we can take those published files for InDesign and how we can open those up in Affinity Publisher and start working on them. I've gone ahead and jumped over into Affinity Publisher. Now this is the 1.7 beta, so it's not the actual final release. That's due out in the next week or so, but pretty much everything should still be in place. So as I've said at the beginning of the video, there's one thing we can't really do at the moment, and that is import InDesign files, no matter which format we save them out in. However, we can do it if we save them as a PDF. So saving your file straight out of InDesign into a PDF file like you normally would for print makes it accessible inside Affinity Publisher. So let me just show you how this works. What I've got is I've got a project open, and as you can see it's a PDF and I've got the InDesign file. If I try to open the InDesign file, I'll get a warning saying this isn't supported, so we can click close on there. However, if we come back and open up exactly the same file from PDF, drop that in, we now get a dialog box that allows us to go through and specify how we want to import this particular file. So you can see we can load all the pages, we can pull in the entire published file, or we can load specific pages if we only want to access certain pages throughout the document. So whichever option applies to you, you can choose that. Next up, we've got the DPI. This allows us to choose what resolution we want to import in at. So you can see at the moment it says estimate. However, if we want to, we can go through and specify various different formats. Obviously, if you go for print, you want to work for something like 300 plus to make sure you get good quality, especially if you're dealing with photographs and images. However, I'll leave it to estimate for this example. So next, we have the color space of the document we're trying to open. Now you can see at the moment this is using CMYK. If this is a print document, that's perfectly fine. However, if you have a different option, you may be working full screen or you may be working to output to print, but it's just the printed word and you have no colors, you can just choose anything you want from this list, grey, RGB or CMYK. And again, the same as the DPI, we've got the estimate option, so we'll look at the document and see what it thinks is the right color space to open this up in. So that's pretty cool. Next, we've got favor editable text over fidelity. So if you want to make sure that your text is as editable as possible, you can check that box. And then we have group lines of text into text frames. So these are options that are optional based upon what you're trying to do when you open this document up. I'm going to leave those as they are, and we're going to click OK. Once we've done that, within a second, you can see it automatically opens up, tells us that Affinity Publisher has assigned a particular profile, in this example the US Web Coated Swap version 2, so it's applied that color profile to this. That's fine, click close on there. What we can see is each of these now is an individual page in our document, but what I want is I want them to have them as spreads or facing pages. So how do we go about getting around that? Well, Affinity Publisher makes it very easy. You'll see now we've got the document open, we've got three buttons at the top of our screen on the left hand side. Document Setup, Spread Setup and Preferences. If we come into the Document Setup and open that, you can see we've got the ability to choose Facing Pages under the Layout tab. If I choose that, I can now arrange these horizontally and I can say which side of the spread do I want the start page on, the right hand side or the left hand side. There are various different reasons why you may want to choose this. By default, you're probably going to err on the side of going for the right, which is what you'd normally expect, but you have the option available if you don't want to go with that default. So we're going to click on OK, and you can see that immediately updates and now shows us in both the Pages section on the left hand side and in the main window our entire document all laid out the way we want, with the spread set up, with the facing pages, with the title page on the right hand side, all set up directly inside Affinity Publisher. Now with that document imported, if we take a look on the right hand side underneath the layers section, you'll see it'll show us all the component elements for a particular page. If we choose an alternative page, that will immediately update and show us all the various different components that make up that particular page. So we can enable and disable anything we want on the pages. You can see we can just enable, disable everything we want across our entire spread. The text, everything. So we have full control over all of the different layers on there, all directly inside Affinity Publisher. So as you can see, it pulls in the PDFs created from InDesign and allows us to go through now and start editing and working and doing whatever we want to those files with pretty much everything intact. Now, like I said at the top of this video, this is still the beta version. The final version is due out very soon, so it would be great to hope that they'll bring out the ability to import directly from InDesign. However, this is a good workaround for this point in time. Just save it out from InDesign, pull in the PDF, and you can start working on those documents inside Affinity Publisher. So there we go, that's how we can take published files from InDesign and open those up in Affinity Publisher. Now, can you see yourself using Affinity Publisher? Could you see yourself using this to replace InDesign in your workflow? If you could, let me know in the comment section below. What are your pros and cons for this? And what are the things that you need to have in place before you could look at making that switch over? I'd love to get your feedback on this, so please use that comment section below. Well, as always, mine has been Paul C. This has been iPixel Design, and until next time, take care.